What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. I wanted to come on and talk some Jets training camp, give you an update on the Justin Fields injury, and talk about who stood out both in a positive and negative way. We had our reaction to Justin Fields getting carted off pretty much immediately, and then I was saying, look, I had to go and work. You might see the color in my face. I was outdoors all day working at the Great South Bay Music Festival. The face is not as bad. You want to talk some pale people problems right here? I got sunburned so bad on the back of my kneecaps. The back of my knees is where I got it the worst. If that's not pale people problems, I don't know what is. But anyway, we're going to do the Justin Fields injury update now at the top, and then we'll get into big things and quotes that happened today. So, Justin Fields injury update. It's a dislocated toe, and he is day-to-day. About the best possible case scenario. He was out on the practice field today, ran out there with the team. He threw a couple passes, but didn't participate in team and positional drills, which is fine. You want to take it slow. We have some quotes from AG on Justin Fields a little bit later in this video, but one, not nearly as bad as what we thought. Getting carted off and it turning into being a dislocated toe is such a sigh of relief for not only Jets fans, but Justin Fields in particular. It could have been, a lot worse than what it ended up being here. Next, I got to go to Mason Taylor, Jets rookie, in his second day of training camp in the NFL. Made an unbelievable diving touchdown catch. And I'm really excited for Mason Taylor this year. I've said it before. I think he's going to be a major focal point of this offense. I think there's a good chance that he's third on the team in receptions this year, with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall being 1 and 2. I think Mason Taylor would be next in line before you get to Josh Reynolds and the rest of the crew after that. But, just showing off an unbelievable play. And don't forget, too, guys, this guy's 20 years old. He was the youngest player in the draft this past year. He hasn't turned 21 years old yet. And, there's been a lot of positive signs with him. Not only just, the first couple days of training camp, but going back to minicamp and OTAs, he was making a ton of plays. And again, I just think he's going to be really involved in this offense. And I'm glad the contract got done so he didn't have to miss the first few days of training camp. So major positive there as well. We got our first iron sharpening iron bit today. Armand Membu and McDonald were battling it out. The Jets rookie right tackle, Jets third year edge rusher. And it was, some plays Will McDonald was winning, other plays Armand Membu was winning. And look, I think overall the takeaway is Membu was holding his own against a really good pass rusher, which is a good sign because, yes, he's a first round pick, but his strength is the run blocking ability. And for being not being in pads, I thought the Jets offensive line from all accounts were holding up really well in the run game, but him holding his own in pass pro this early against a really good edge rusher is a good sign, right? The Jets offensive line has to play better than what they've had the past few years, and there's a ton of potential. On the defensive end, Andre Cisco really stood out. He had 2 interceptions and a pass breakup. That's really exciting for him, as the Jets will be having a new starting free safety. And he was back there returning punts. I didn't know Andre Cisco could return punts. And, I had a little flashback of Jim Leonard, right? Like, we want to talk about safeties who ended up being punt returners on this team. Jim Leonard was a good one in 2009 and 2010 for the Jets. It might have went a little into 2011 also, but Andre Cisco throws his hat in the ring on the punt return spot. I don't know if he wins the job. Part of me would be surprised if Andre Cisco, like on September 7th, the Jets' first game of the year, is going to be back there catching punts, but did not know that was a factor in his game. So we'll keep an eye on it. While we're on the special teams, the punting and kicking has not been great. Now, as a reminder, you have McNamara and Kroger battling it out for the punter spot, and Davis and Mevis, the thicker kicker, battling it out for the kicking spot. Punting has been very shaky. Yesterday was not a very good day for the kickers, and that kind of flew under the radar with all the Justin Fields stuff. But we'll see. Hopefully they get better as camp goes on, but there's still enough time where the Jets could pull someone else in. I know he's older, but Nick Folk is still, batting around. He wants to kick. I think it would be his 19th season in the league. He's been good the last couple of years. So keep an eye on the free agency market if this continues, right? Like, again, it's day 2. I'm not saying you pull the plug after just 2 days, but both the punters and the kickers are going to have to improve as camp goes on if they don't want the Jets to then pivot and try to find a veteran. We talked about a drop yesterday from Malachi Corley, but he had a touchdown catch. So we got to highlight the positives too. Good for Malachi. He needs more days like today. It was a bounce back day for him, which is important. It's a really, really tough competition for the wide receiver, like 3 through however many they carry, at most 6. And he's in the midst of that battle. He was injured in minicamp and OTAs, so this new staff didn't really get a chance to see him. But glad he was able to have a really nice touchdown catch, make a big play, have a bounce back day. Also heard some rumblings too that the staff really likes Brandon Smith. I know Smith has been kind of a big talking point, at least recently. He was with the Jets last year, didn't have a big role, but so far this summer and even in the spring, been hearing a lot about Brandon Smith. So add Brandon Smith as a name to watch for one of the 5 or 6 wide receivers that they end up keeping. Let's do some quotes. Here's Aaron Glenn on Justin Fields and the injury.
I want to make sure that between all of us that we have a conversation to see exactly what needs to be done for him to get ready to come back. And you're right. I mean, it is early. But also we want to make sure we get as many reps as we can with them. So when he's ready to come back, we'll make sure he's out on the field, make sure he's getting those reps. Now, he's going to be in meetings, he's going to be in all those things. But for the most part, man, we're going to work together and make sure it's collaborative as far as when he gets back on the field.
Again, day to day, not a major injury, a major win for the New York Jets. And Justin Fields wanted to practice today, but Aaron Glenn had to hold him back.
Well, that's who Justin is. And listen, I'd rather have a guy that I have to hold back than have to tell him to giddy up. So he's built like that. He's a tough man. And I expected that anyway. Once we understand, got the diagnosis of exactly what it was, I knew exactly how he's going to operate. That's most of our guys we have.
From the player's perspective, I totally get it, right? Like, I love that Justin Fields wants to be back out on the field. And if the Jets were in a situation where this was a game day, he's probably playing today. But it's not. It's July 25th. So there's a lot of time before the season. Give him a couple days, however long you think it is necessary. I'm good with the Jets taking it slow for now. But as Aaron Glenn said, Fields is a guy who needs some reps. So we'll see him on the field soon enough. But I'm okay with the approach they're taking right now. Last quote for me, this one also really stood out as a positive. Aaron Glenn talked about why they have officials at training camp.
With the officiating crew, are they here for the duration of camp, or is this just an early camp thing, and what's the benefit of having them?
I want the officials here as much as possible, and they know that. And it's no secret that we were the most penalized team in the league last year. So that's one of the things that I want to nip in the bud early, of making sure that the discipline part of what we do, that we fix that now. You cannot win games in this league with an undisciplined team. So all the penalties that we had last year, we're knocking those things out, and we want to make sure that we're good at that. Even the details of what we do. Like, we can't have any MAs, and I know they happen, all right, but we're striving for perfection in that situation of every detail when it comes to offense and defense, that we're on top of that, and we're trying to make sure we be good on that too. So the officials are going to be here. We're going to knock that out. All right, I would tell you that we're going to knock these penalties out. We're going to understand that undisciplined teams do not win games.
How about that quote? Undisciplined teams do not win games. He's right. And last year's team was incredibly undisciplined. And I loved how Aaron Glenn was talking about the Jets and, being the most undisciplined team, or one of the most undisciplined teams last year. He was talking like he was here. He wasn't. He was in Detroit, but he was still like, this is an issue for our team and it has to get fixed, even though he was not here during that time. It was on the last regime. But instead of, just pushing that and passing the blame off to, Saleh and Ulbrich and everyone who was here last year, he goes, no, we're going to fix this now. So expect to see the officials there a lot at training camp. It's not something they did all that much under the Robert Saleh era. So that's, again, another change that Aaron Glenn is making for Jets training camp. So that'll do it for me on this one. I'll be at training camp tomorrow morning. So I'll have a video when I get back from training camp. I'll I'll record live, when I'm there. I like kind of doing that, but we'll come back. We'll add some B-roll. We'll add some interview quotes and some press conference quotes in the video as well. So really looking forward to that. If anyone's going tomorrow, let me know. Hopefully we get a chance to meet up and I could talk to some Jet fans tomorrow, but that'll do it for me in this one. I'm Matt O'Leary and I'll catch you next time.